Beneath the powder blue sky of a crisp January morning, Samuel Spry sat on his sister's skateboard, knees pulled up tight against his chest with his feet off the ground, fingers white-knuckled and gripping the sides as it rumbled and bounced down the garden path. He was now moving at quite a speed. In fact, dangerously faster than he'd intended. "Woohoo!" he shouted with nervous glee. The garden was long and sloping, with a central lawn and a small ornamental pond to one side. Halfway down, the path levelled out for a few metres, and it was here that the skateboard was supposed to come to a slow and orderly halt. Unfortunately, his twin sister Amber had totally underestimated the depth of the slope when she had given Sam the shove to propel him on his now perilous journey. Sam had many good qualities, but he could be reckless when he wanted to be, and he'd convinced Amber, much against her better judgment, to let him do this. As he reached what felt like a juddering warp factor 5, there was a sudden, short screech of resistance. It is quite surprising what effect a tiny piece of gravel can have on a small resin wheel. "Uh-oh!" Sam's confidence skittered away like a startled mouse. With a sudden jerk, the skateboard skewed to the left and stopped. Momentum defeated gravity, and Sam was lifted into the air, his bottom batted upwards by the board, which then tumbled into the shrubbery, as if to hide in shame. "Whoa!" Sam yelled, legs kicking and arms cartwheeling, as if he was trying to ride an invisible bicycle and juggle at the same time. With a somersault worthy of an Olympic gymnast, Sam landed flat on his back, splayed out like a snow angel on the lawn, his head centimetres from an ornamental rock on the edge of the pond. "Sam!" Amber shrieked with fear, her legs pumping frantically as she ran down the path after him. Thankfully, his dad's ancient motorcycle helmet, stuffed with old pieces of yellowing foam, saved him from any serious injury. Although, when his helmeted head hit the ground with a percussive bounce, the breath was knocked out of him, and he momentarily blacked out. In Sam's case, blacked out had been a basic description of his world for the past 6 years. He'd been totally blind since just after his 6th birthday, when a life-threatening attack of bacterial meningitis had stripped away his sight. Sam later found out that while he was in intensive care, 2 other children admitted with the same illness had sadly not survived their ordeal. Fate might have chosen darkness to be Sam's companion, but he now counted himself fortunate. At first he couldn't comprehend, in comparison, how lucky he'd been. The loss of his eyesight and the emotional devastation that had followed pushed all sympathy for anyone else from his mind. For a while. Now, he understood the heartbreak and distress the parents of the other 2 children would carry with them for the rest of their lives, and he was intensely grateful that his own mum and dad were not the ones to pay that awful, ultimate price. Their undying love for him and their unwavering devotion had helped to guide him through his despair. His sister Amber had also played no small part in his recovery, and he had learnt to manage his fears and become a better person because of them all. Sam, are you okay?" Amber's voice, full of alarm, filtered through the crash helmet and into his senses. Sam's eyes opened lazily. His long eyelashes fluttered, his eyes widened, and he gasped so hard he shuddered with the force. Amber's voice came again, this time with even more urgency. "Sam, answer me, are you all right?" He couldn't find any words. Not yet. They were stuck somewhere between his brain and his tongue. Something wonderful had just happened. He could see again. Well, sort of. The black velvet shroud over his sight was gone. In its place was a bright, swirling myriad of colour. Excitement rushed through him, tingling in his chest.